Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Liquid Lunch Project. I am Matthew R. Meehan alongside my partner, the Professor Luigi Rosabianca. What's on tap today, Lou?
Matt, I've got visions of grandeur for this introduction. I need Jorge to plug in the national anthem. I need you to stand and put your right arm over your chest, because I am introducing Commander Mary Kelly, PhD, graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy, author of 15 books, and honestly, a small business entrepreneur visionary. Welcome to the podcast, Commander. Thank you for gracing us with your presence.
I miss the days of actual liquid lunches. I should just say that right away.
Oh, you're going to fit in real good.
Some people come on and they have no idea what it is, but this is where me and Luigi actually met down in Wall Street. We would just go out and have liquid lunches, and the whole theme is you get more business done at the bar sometimes than you do in the boardroom.
100%.
Mary, the only problem I had with Matthew is he would segue that liquid lunch into a liquid dinner, and it just...
Well, because he wanted to keep working. You can't go back to the office and waste time. Stay at the bar.
Exactly.
Speaking of work, I hear you've got this wonderful strategic plan initiative for small business owners. What is that?
So folks, as you know, a lot of our small business owners are running around doing a million things every single day. And they're great at doing the things they do, running their business, running their store, running their retail, running their financial planning business, cutting hair, managing the daycare. Whatever they do, they're doing really well. What gets lost in the day-to-day fire stomping and managing the crises is strategic planning. And one of the things I've been working with very closely with clients who work with small businesses is, hey, let's help our people plan out where they really want to go and then figure out how to get there. And the way to do that is not to give them 16,000 pages on here's how to create a strategic plan. It is to give them a short, concise, get this done after dinner at night when you're sitting around the kitchen table, and plan out your year so you're not wasting your resources and so that you are maximizing your profitability.
Now, are we talking about day-to-day operating procedures? Are we talking revenue targets or growth? Like, how do you strategize the strategic plan?
Right. So what you do is you figure out and you ask yourself, who do we serve now? What do we do now? That's our mission. Our mission is what we do. We cut hair, we play baseball. What do we do right now? Our vision is where we're going. We are the best known hair salon in all of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We are Texas' greatest financial planners. We are New York's best deli. Whatever you are, that's your vision. That's where you're going. You need to know that. You need to know where you're going with your business. And then you ask the question, what are we going to do this year? Who do we serve this year? And then who do we serve in the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? How does our demographic for our customers, our clients, how does that change over time? And then you think about what's going to be the external shock that's going to impact my business. Maybe there's new regulation. Maybe there's new sustainability measurements. Maybe I build homes and now there's all these new requirements. What's going to change that I need to be aware of? And then figure out from that where you want to go. And that's when you put in the metrics. That's where you put in, I want to increase my profitability. All right, profitability, it's so simple to make profit. Your total costs have to be less than your total revenue. And you want that to be a really big delta. So easy. But
sell more than you spend.
I know, it's so easy. You just have to move past your first break-even point, and then you want those two lines to be as far apart as possible because that gives you the greatest profitability. But a lot of people confuse more revenue with more profits, and it is not the same.
That is 100% true. I'd rather see revenues go down and profitability go up.
That's right. That's right. At the end of the accounting system, you want to, a lot of people say, well, I made $1 million last year. Okay, great. What'd you keep?
100%.
You can make $1 million, but if your total costs are $1.2 million, that's not a very good business plan.
Revenue is a vanity number at the end of the day.
Yes.
You see online in these social media networks, all these e-com gurus out there trying to sell their next course saying that they did, $100 million in e-com. right? But what they forget to tell you is their profit margin is 0.0002. So what's the point of going through all that for all that work? It
Plus,
doesn't make
it's so much
sense.
stress.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking about numbers that, and if your profitability is not where it should be, you are working really hard to generate revenue and you're not keeping very much of it. You might as well go work at Walmart.
No, I totally agree.
Mhm.
So we work with business owners all day long, right? And a lot of things that we see is they're just really good at what they do, but they don't know where to go. And sometimes what winds up happening, and Luigi says it best, is they're in the forest, they're stuck staring at the tree, and they don't see the paths around to go in. Is that generally what you do? You go in and you help them see these paths and show them precisely on what moves to make?
Yes. So my dad had a gift. My dad was from Brooklyn. He was a great sales guy. Everybody liked him. He was the BLT sandwich, the guy that
I'm
everybody
sorry, was he
believes
from?
and
I'm
likes
Yeah,
sorry,
and
he was
trusts.
the BLT sandwich, you said?
Uh-huh. My dad was from Brooklyn. He was the BLT sandwich, the guy you believe, like, and trust.
Okay.
You know, he's that guy.
oh, so like
And
really, really
he
cool
took
people come from Brooklyn.
all the cool people come from Brooklyn. The
Not
rest of
you.
us just
Not
pale
you,
in
Lou.
comparison.
Lou, not
She's a
you, buddy.
command. Matt, you want to argue with a commander?
Not you, buddy.
So yeah,
Uh,
so dad had really good business acumen, mostly from learning it on the streets and figuring
mhm.
it out. And then he passed it along to me. And a few things he said was, you know, you're not going to live long enough to make all the mistakes on the planet. So you got to learn from other people's mistakes. Number one, a lot of small business people, they don't look around and see, hey, what's everybody else doing in different horizontals? They look at their own vertical and they look at their own stuff and they get very myopic. And then they don't know how to look outside of that and figure out, hey, how can I do this better? How can I be stronger? How can I improve? They're just stuck because they're looking inward. And especially we found during COVID, people got really myopic during COVID. So they stopped looking at what other things worked. And then they just looked at their own broken systems and got sad.
Mary, what I find fascinating, and I don't use that word too often, is if I look at your illustrious career, all roads have led to helping small business. You've written 15 books. That's not including all your workbooks and courses and master classes. And they're all geared towards helping small business. You've
Yes.
gotten a PhD. You served in the military. What is it about the entrepreneurial journey, besides an homage to your cool Brooklyn dad? What is it about the entrepreneurial journey that is so attractive to you that wants to make you serve them?
Being an entrepreneur means you control your own destiny. You want more money? You can do it. If you want to make more money, it's not that hard. What I love about being an entrepreneur is they figured once you get that mindset right, it becomes easier. You're still working hard. You're still doing all the things. But the goal of controlling your own destiny is yours. You control your destiny, nobody else. And it doesn't matter what external shocks happen to you, the business, society, COVID, the world, doesn't matter. You're still going to be able to make a good living, take care of your family, be a member of society, pay your people well, and be a role model in your community because you're successful. You're not relying on anybody else. And I love it.
You wrote a very witty titled book last year called Stop Procrastinating Tomorrow. Tell the audience what that's all about.
So for a lot of us, we procrastinate. Okay, I take that back. All of us procrastinate. Maybe think about what you did before the holidays. If you're one of those people who loves to put up holiday decorations, yay you. You're the one who pulls that tree out at Halloween and you decorate it and you get all excited and you put all the lights up and everything's wonderful and there's wreaths on everything. And you got garlands going up your stairs and every single horizontal space in your house is covered with Santa Clauses and Frosty the Snowman. Good for you. For the rest of us, we hate all that. And we have to be coerced, held at gunpoint, and threatened in order to put all that stuff up. And every time we're putting it up, we're mad because we know we got to take it down in just another couple of weeks. We just hate it. And as a result, we procrastinate on it. Now, if you love doing it, you don't procrastinate. If you hate doing it, you don't want to do it. That's everything. That is everything in life. If you are great at marketing, you get excited about marketing. If you're great at sales, you get excited about picking up the phone. If it's not something you're innately good at, if you're not blessed with the ability to wake up and go, yes, I want to make sales calls, then you struggle and you procrastinate. And this is what I see a lot of small businesses doing. They're not selling effectively. They are not marketing effectively. They're not advertising correctly. They're doing spray and pray advertising and marketing. They're not defining their value proposition, and they're wasting a lot of time by not selling. So for that thing, I just want to say, folks, if you're out there and you're providing a solution for people, you are making people's lives better because you are the world's greatest hair salon. You are the world's greatest deli. You are the whatever you are. And you're not telling them about you. You're not telling other people about what you can do well. You're kind of being a jerk. I just want to throw that out there. You're being a jerk by not telling people how you can help them and make their life better.
Hold
And
on a
what
second, Mary. Say that one more time, just a little louder, because I know there's a lot of people, and Matt and I know a couple of them that really need to hear that. Can you please just say that one more time?
many times we are shy about telling people about our products, our services, and what we do. And we are great at what we do. And we solve people's problems. We make their lives better. So folks, if you're one of those people who's hesitant about sharing your message about your services, your products, and your abilities to help them, you're kind of being a jerk. So you need to be great at advertising and marketing and sales, because the more people you can help, the better their lives are. Oh, and you're going to make money in the process.
Mary, there is something very dynamic and passionate about you. Obviously, it pours out of your pores. What's the goal here? Like, what's your strategic plan? Right? Like you served us, you served this country. God bless you. Thank you for your service. Then you got your PhD. Now you're a prolific author. You're helping a ton of small business owners. What's the path for you?
My vision for me, so it's a good question, and very few people ask that question. Most people say, what can you do for me? And there's a good answer for that. But my vision is to help as many people as possible be as successful as possible by serving as many people as possible. So I want to create a movement where great leaders are great leaders for them, their teams, and their businesses, but also inspire and influence other people to do the same. I think there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there who are stuck in jobs because they don't realize they can be entrepreneurs. I want people to get excited about a side hustle. I want people to get excited about controlling their own destiny. And that means controlling their own income and their own wealth. And I want people to get excited about the gifts that they have naturally, and they can pursue that even though they're doing another job somewhere else. And that's all entrepreneurship. It is chasing what you're great at to as far as you can take it. And that's what I want.
Mary, Matt and I, love what we do, and we love serving small business owners, and we think we're pretty sophisticated guys, but deep down inside, we're just a bunch of guys. Do you have any war stories for us?
Oh, I have a few. So I need you to know I am just an average gal trying to do an above average job every single day.
I want to back up here. Tell me about how you actually decided to go into the Naval Academy. Where did that come from? If
So
Dad was from
I
Brooklyn, yeah.
I grew up in Dallas, Texas, and I had never met a military person in my life. My military exposure was watching MASH. That was my big military indoctrination. And then when I was getting ready to try to go to college, my parents were like, look, we'll get you through high school, and after that, you're on your own, kid. And that was the deal they had with all of us. And we knew since we were about 5 years old that that's how it was going to work. Well, in our country, we're so blessed that we have these things called military academies. Who knew? I'd never heard of West Point or Annapolis or the Air Force Academy or the Coast Guard Academy or the Merchant Marine Academy. I'd never heard of these places. Turns out they exist. And you know what that is? It means the Naval Academy, which is where I went, they take about 1,200 people a year, and we graduate with about 1,000. And once you graduate, you get to be commissioned in the Navy or the Marine Corps, and you get to have an adventure. And you get to serve. This is not an obligation. It technically is, but it's an honor. You get to serve for 5 years, and that is your payback. And then if they like you and you like them, you can stay longer. So I was very fortunate to stay for a full career. So that was good. I was active duty for about 25 years.
Out of curiosity, after you've conducted your prescribed service, what percentage of your graduates did you see go into the private sector versus stay in some sort of governmental job?
It's a good question. About so after the first 5 years, we lose a lot of people because it's a pyramid that's very flat on the bottom and then it starts to go up. We need a lot of junior officers. The system is built to have a lot of junior officers, and so that first 5 years, you're a junior officer, and then and I'm not really, I should know the percentages exactly. I'll give you estimates. And then about 50% stay on for another tour after that. So now you're talking 6, 7, 8 years. And then after that, maybe 20% stay till 20 years. You have to get out of the military by the time you've been in for 30 years. By that time, let's face it, you're like 50. You can't do the PT tests anymore. You can't do push-ups. No, you sneeze and you throw out your back. We don't want those kind of people in the military.
So you were telling us offline before that you have some pretty impressive not roommates,
Classmates.
classmates. That's correct. So why don't
I
you
have
tell us
some
about that?
amazing classmates. One of them is David Robinson, who went on to play for the San Antonio Spurs. He grew like 10 inches while he was at the academy. By the way, he is the nicest guy you've ever met in your life. He tutored me through electrical engineering. Turns out I'm a horrible engineer. He's a much better engineer than I am.
So
Um,
you and David Robinson were in the same graduate class?
yeah, he's taller than me. He's easier to find at graduation. Uh-huh. And everybody was happy that he got to go on and play basketball because he was too tall to fit in a plane. He's too tall to fit in a submarine. He's too tall to fit in passageways. I mean, he was just tall, so they allowed him to go supply corps and then do some alternate work for the Navy. And he's a great representative of what the Navy should be. So he's great. One of my other famous classmates is Sunita Williams. She's in space right now as we're recording this, as we're talking. This was the Gilligan's Island of the astronaut world. Last June 5th, they headed to space for 8 days. They're still there. It's almost March. They're still there. And she has the best attitude. I got to tell y'all, we are so lucky as a class. We're a class of 1987 from the Naval Academy. Loud, proud, that's us. We get to Zoom call with her. NASA sets it up so we as a class can Zoom with her. It's pretty cool. She gives us tours of the space station. We're like, what'd you eat today? She was really
That's
funny.
pretty badass.
It's really cool. She's like, okay, pudding. They sent the other capsule up here with a bunch of pudding, and the Russian astronauts don't like the pudding. So we've
Is
been
she
eating a
doing
lot of.
flips while she's talking to you?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's the coolest thing ever. And like clothes will be floating around, and they weren't planning on them staying there this whole time. So they kind of had to fashion like a little space for. There's not like, you got to remember, it's not like there's hotel rooms up there.
Like, did she
Everything
give
is.
you the inside story, like on what's going on and like what's the ETA for getting them back? I mean, can she? I don't know. Can she order Grubhub? Like, what's going on up there?
I know, right? I know. So what's amazing to me is from Earth to the space station, it's only a 22-minute ride. So you're thinking 22 minutes, you know, in the beginning, we were joking about this. We're like, bring Sunny back. We need bumper stickers and all this. And then we started joking about her. Hey, we're going to file your extended tax return for you in October. And now we're like, we're going to have to actually file your taxes for you. You know, it's they do get resupplies and all that. And it does look very promising that they will be coming back in March on the Dragon as they're
Oh, so
supposed to.
they've been able to supply the space station. So she's been getting shipments. They just can't take her back.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And do you think they sent alcohol? No, they did not. That's just mean. Did they send vodka? No, they did not. They did wine? No, not. There's no nice cabarets in.
No, no. Look, if
I'm sure
it's
the
the
Russians have
international,
vodka.
it's the International Space Station. She's got to go over to the Russian side. They've got to have some Stoli there.
That's what I said too. That was like one of my questions. I was like, is there any alcohol in space? Because do you know that our Navy ships are dry? You know that we're not
No, I
allowed to
didn't know
have
that.
alcohol in our Navy ships?
Really?
People are always surprised by that. And I'm like, that's why we have to make up for it.
Well,
Yeah.
that's why you get like weekend leaves. You know.
Well, except you have to remember that Navy ships at sea, there are no weekends. Like it just doesn't exist. You know, a ship at sea has no weekends or happy hours or anything like that. A Saturday is the same as a Friday and a
But
Tuesday.
there's the occasional port of call, no?
There are, and that's when we misbehave. Mhm.
So 22 minutes? Did you say 22 minutes from Earth?
22 minutes. You know, you're
That's it?
thinking, okay.
Yeah.
So imagine. So the other thing is, you know, she has a dog. You would miss your dog. Like your dog. I'm sure the dog misses her. Her husband misses her. So he's a classmate too. He's cool.
You probably
You
miss a
got,
shower.
I mean, you got some classmates.
We
That
and
reunion must be fun.
we have our reunion is a blast. We have so many entrepreneurs. We have so many people who use the lessons from the military, which is discipline. If you want to go do something, go do it. And the thing is, a lot of your friends, if you say, "Hey, I want to start a business," and you tell your friends, they're going to tell you why you can't do it. They're like, "Oh no, little Matt, he can't start a business. Remember, tried to start a lemonade stand when he was 5, and that was an utter failure." Like, okay, I've learned a few things along the way. Your family and your friends can be some of your biggest naysayers when you think about what you want to do for a business. And you can't listen to that. You just
And
have to start. You don't have
they'll
to know everything. You just have to start and you figure it out along the way.
So, Mary, let me ask you something. Can you teach discipline and work ethic?
Yes.
Okay. So it's possible that someone enters the Naval Academy and maybe they're a little bit in disarray,
Mhm.
and then you could get in ship shape by the time you get out. So these are skill sets that are transferable and are teachable.
Yes, and we do very well on the enlisted side too. We are very good with teaching young people how to work, what to do, how to be disciplined, how to schedule your day, how to time manage. We're good at this.
How does the Naval Academy teach that?
First off, they overschedule you, so you have to manage your time very well. And
Uh,
you learn that 30
they do that
seconds.
on purpose.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. They overly stress you
So that
and
2 minute shower is part of the regime.
oh, 2 minutes is a long time. That's a long time. 30 seconds is a long time. You can get a lot done in 30 seconds. And what's frustrating to me is how many people waste their time. Life is a finite number of unknown minutes, and we do not have time to waste. We have to do the things that we were put on the planet to do. And if you've got 2 minutes, you can throw social media candy for somebody else. You can tell somebody they did a great job. You can send a quick thank you text. You can do something good for somebody in 2 minutes. If you got an extra 2 minutes, go use that 2 minutes and go encourage somebody.
At what point does the Naval Academy, or we could transfer that skill set to the entrepreneur, do you weed out the class of 1,200 to 1,000? Like how much of a rope do you give someone before they hang themselves?
So you get to have 2 years at the academy to figure out if the military life is for you. A lot of people do leave during the first summer of training, same as boot camp. You lose about 100 people maybe that summer. We did, and then over time, people leave voluntarily because they just realize it's not for them. Not that many people though. A lot of people do wind up having to leave because, okay, all the military academies are tough academically. And, other schools you might be taking 12 or 15 hours. When I was there, we were scheduled for 20 and 22 hours every semester. And those are academic hours. And then you've got military requirements on top of that and your sports on top of that. So you're over scheduled. And academically, it's a tough place. I went back and taught there, and I was just amazed at how smart my midshipmen and my cadets were. I taught at both the Air Force Academy and the Naval Academy.
What did you teach?
At the Naval Academy, I taught history, and at the Air Force Academy, I taught economics and finance.
Was it military history or was it just general history?
There are some people who teach military history. I only taught naval history a little bit. I'm better at the world civilization, American history, Russian history. That's really my specialty.
So how is a naval graduate commander received at the Air Force?
I told them I was their answer to diversity, that I was Irish and I was Navy.
That's awesome.
No, you
Hey,
didn't. Did you
Ms.
really?
I did. I really did. I was wildly irreverent, and my dean knew that. Okay,
I love
so
you.
so one
Can you come work? Can you come work with us and talk to our team? I mean, she's amazing.
I really can. I really can. So this is just horrifying. So at the Naval Academy at Halloween, everybody dresses up for Halloween. Now keep in mind, the Naval Academy, the campus is open to the public. So you show up there on Halloween, like noon formation, there's going to be 4,000 people in costume. It
Also,
is
Annapolis is a wonderful town.
It's a fun town. It's a fun town. Well, when I went out to the Air Force Academy, they don't really dress up for Halloween. But there was one other guy there who said, "I'll do it if you do it." So we're the teachers, we're the professors, and we're the only ones who dress up on Halloween. So I dressed up with this long black dress and black boots and a black wig and a black pointy hat. and he dressed up as Dumbledore. Okay, so together, this is a really fun picture. It's awesome. And then somebody said, okay, this actually happened. They said, you're being religiously intolerant of Wiccans. And I said, oh, I didn't know what you're talking. So I got summoned into the boss's office. They said, this is offensive to, somebody said you're making fun of Wiccans. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm dressed as Cher.
And he was
And my,
like,
and my boss actually paused and said, I can work with that. So, I mean, I got into trouble for just doing the stupidest things, because I was a Navy person at the Air Force Academy. So 1 year, every semester we have Navy midshipmen who go to the Air Force Academy kids and West Point kids go to Navy. We swap 5 or 6 kids every school, every fall semester. And then at the football game, we have what we call the prisoner exchange, where they cross the field and shake hands and all this other stuff. And it's a good, fun rivalry. So one time I got together with the Navy midshipmen and I said, you know what we need? We need the Navy mascot is a goat. I said, I'll get you a goat for noon formation. So we ran a goat through noon formation. And my boss knew who did it. Like, he calls me up and I'm back in the office. He goes, are you responsible for there being a goat at noon formation? And I said, well, yes. And he said, where in the world did you find a goat? I said, really? You're going to ask a Navy person about where they procure their farm animals? Like, this is yeah. Okay, come on.
Mary,
Anyway.
can we work out a barter? If you let us know what your beverage of choice is, I'm going to have Matthew send you over that beverage. In return, can you please share with our audience some sort of link or a PDF to the strategic plan? Because I really think every small business owner should sit down at dinner tonight after listening to this podcast and put together a strategic plan for the next 12 months. I'd really appreciate that.
I would love to. I also love bourbon, wine, and anything else that's behind a bar in any bar. Like, I am a team drinker. It is my superpower. I'm just saying, and thank you.
Bourbon it is.
Bourbon in it, that'd be beautiful. So not only that, I'm going to up it slightly. I'm going to give your listeners access to my entire vault. This is like a $500 thing that my team sells. So don't tell my team. And the link is productiveleaders.com/2025-success, like 2025 success.
Right,
and it's a 5-part vault.
Folks, you don't have to pay attention. We'll drop that in the notes.
Yep. It includes my Leaders Blind Spot assessment. It's my 12-month planner, which is absolute solid gold for my entrepreneurs. As soon as I knew I was going to be talking to you about strategic planning, and I woke up this morning, so I wrote the strategic plan. My team is making it really pretty. They're going to have it in the vault probably by tomorrow. But there's a whole series of books and ebooks and workbooks and a series of 5-minute plans that are tackling everyday problems. Amazing. And my economic predictions for 2025.
Matt, you better make certain that's a nice bottle of bourbon.
I'm getting something nice.
I'm happy to share. I love my entrepreneurs. I love it when people say, finally, I've got the right tool, because there's so much garbage out there. There's so many people who say, oh, here's a magic bullet, and if you pay me this money, we'll do that. I'm like, stop it. Like, stop it right now. Stop buying things that don't work from people who don't understand business. Stop buying stuff from people who aren't successful.
Mary, you're being naughty again, Mary. You're being naughty again. You're not sharing a war story. I mean, we don't want to get you court-martialed, but you got to share a war story.
Okay, so I walked into my boss's office one day, and this is when I was a chief of police, and I said, "Hey, boss, I want to make sure I'm embodying the characteristics you want as your chief of police." I said, I think I had a list in front of me, so I wanted to give him I want him to choose. I said, I think I'm pretty meticulous in how I conduct investigations. I have a little law enforcement background. And I think I'm pretty mission oriented with the safety and security of the people on this base and all the things. And I think I'm pretty mature in how I conduct the investigations, because again, I've got some experience in that. And my boss looked at me and said, yeah, no. And I went, what? And he said, now, I went into that job after doing some counterterrorism work. And he said, I need you to be friendly and obliging and cheerful. And I'm like, what?
Where were you stationed while the conversation was taking place?
So this is on a military base. It's on a military base. And I said, hang on. And I pushed back. And he said, here's the thing. He said, I know this is not your background necessarily. He said, and sometimes if the only tool you have is a hammer, you see everybody as a nail. And I said, kind of. And he said, let me ask you, have you ever wrongfully detained somebody? We call it detaining, not arresting. I said, no. I said, everybody's done something wrong. I just got to get their charge right. And he's like, yeah, no, he didn't find that funny at all. I should point out. Anyway, he said, here's the thing. When you and your cops show up, I want people to think the good guys are here. And I don't know if y'all are familiar with this, but apparently not always in our country, when the cops show up, do people go, woohoo, the good guys are here. I'm currently in Texas. I'm here to tell you that when I'm driving down I-35 and I see the pretty flashing lights behind me, I don't go, woohoo, there's this Texas state troopers just going, welcome back to Texas, Mary. We missed you. Here's a welcome hug and a cup of coffee. That is not what goes through my mind either. So he was right and I was wrong. So this is where we have to get feedback from other people. We have to listen, even though we don't want to hear it, because sometimes people see stuff we don't hear. I got lots of them, though. I got lots of war stories.
Mary, thank you so much for being here. We want to be respectful of your time. I have one question for you before we let you run, though.
Yes.
What's the most important lesson you learned in the Naval Academy?
It would be time management. It would be discipline yourself to not waste time, and that whatever you're doing, people say, well, you're not supposed to multitask. I beg to differ. If you're in an elevator, it's time to do, calf raises, get some workout in. If you got an extra 30 seconds, take the stairs. If you can do something nice for somebody, do it in those 30 seconds. Like, years go by really fast, seconds go by really fast, and just stop wasting your time. And the one thing I think a lot of small business owners do, a lot of business people do, is they just waste time. They are not maximizing their resources, and there's a lot of sitting around wondering what to do. And this is why a strategic plan is really important, because it'll tell you what to do.
I so agree with that, right? We care about results. I don't care about how much time it took you to get the results done.
Yeah. And if you're sitting around going, oh, I'll wait till I feel up to do, if I feel like doing my marketing today. No. You know what life is? Life is a series of decisions. And, when you see somebody who's in a really bad situation, it wasn't one bad decision that got him there. It was a series of bad decisions that got him there. So in business, you have to decide to take the action you need to do to be successful or not. The decision is yours. The choice is yours. Make good decisions.
Mary, thank you so much for being here. Everybody, we're ending on that note because we could stay here all day. That's a wrap for the Liquid Lunch Project. We'll see you in the next episode.